Good night. Sorry I'm late. I'm gonna try set up one little thing here for Uno. But my hair in the way. See, I was setting up our last props. Showing you how Gigi and her husband use lube too. You early, Tyrone, because I late. That's the only reason you're early, because I'm late. All right. Let's see. Hi. Thank you guys for coming back. I see a lot of familiar faces. Thank you. Mr. Chef. Yes, but my head in the way. I couldn't set up myself. Wait, hold on. All right. So, we're going to talk about lubes tonight. And thank you everybody for participating in the questions today. I got a lot of very useful information from you, just from you responding and answering. It was very helpful. Yes, I see you, Kish. So, a couple things. If this is your first time watching and catching the show, I see a lot of people is get tagged. I said, oh lad, Said they come. If it's your first time watching, hit the like button and like the page. I'm also on Instagram, so you can go there and like it. It's at Pleasure Spot. And I have kind of good news and bad news. So I want tonight to be, hi ads. Next week is going to be our last class for the semester. Put it like that. I'm going to take a little break, catch up on some work, and then I'm going to come back with new topics, crazier topics, more in-depth topics. But I won't leave you stranded. You'll have lots of homework, and you see how Ministry of Education, they give homework for kids, watch videos, and I have a lot of videos to watch for homework, so that when we come back, I want to give one a pop quiz. So tonight, but next week is going to be the last live, just for a little while, and then I'll come back and we'll do more lives again, like that. So let's get into our topic for tonight. And our topic for tonight is lube. So first of all, let's talk about how our bodies self-lubricate, our natural lubrication. So for women, natural lubrication comes from vaginal fluid. So this vaginal fluid is a mixture of secretions and various mucous oils and sweat glands, actually. And so during sexual arousal, and these are all inside the vagina, so during arousal, these vaginal secretions are going to increase because of the increased blood flow into the tissue, and what that does is cause seepage through the wall to come out as vaginal fluid. Now for men, What we call pre-cum is actually their lubrication. So pre-ejaculate is something that the man that comes out and it secretes through the urethra to neutralize the acid buildup from urine inside the urethra. Now what's that doing is preparing the passage for the semen. So it's neutralized. Semen cannot necessarily, you know, it's very acidic in there. So what that pre-cum actually does is neutralizes that acid inside there, so that the semen can have a better chance to get, you know, to get through. The vagina is also very acidic. Yes, brother. The vagina is also, go wake up your sister and tell her get up and watch. So the vagina is naturally acidic as well, and so that pre-cum kind of just gives the sperm a fighting chance. You know, it come into a acidic environment through the urethra, and then it enters into another acidic environment into the vagina. So that's what pre-cum does, and it actually acts as a lubricant for the males. So now we know how the body naturally lubricates itself. So I asked a question today about perception. What's your perception of lubes? A lot of different answers, very interesting ones. I enjoyed reading all of them. So one of the main perceptions is that it's thought that it's something that you need to that needs prescription. You need to go to a doctor, and a doctor will prescribe it. Now for some women it is prescribed by doctors based on certain conditions, yes, but you don't need a prescription for lubrication, not for sex. You can get it over the counter wherever they sell them. I have them as well, so no need to get a prescription for sex. Everybody is allowed to use it. And also oil is not lube. So I know you feel like you need something slick and slippery, yes, but oil is not lube. So yes, coconut oil and olive oil are very good for you, very good for the body, and we'll talk about those later on, but they are not lubes. Oils will actually deteriorate condoms, and dental dams, different barriers that you use. So you don't want to use oil as a lube. Also, a lot of people think, well, which I heard in the comments today, or which I read in the comments today, oh, lube is only for old people. So no, lube is not just for old people. Yes, women that of a particular age may need it, as they don't get as wet as they would normally do when they, you know, when they reach a certain age. So yeah, so older women may need lube, but it's not just for old people who can't get wet. It's for everybody. And it's for lazy people. A lot of people said, I heard that this weekend, and I saw a comment saying, you know, it's for people that don't take the time out to get you properly aroused before sex. No, that's not the fact either. So let's get into what it is actually used for. Yes, lubrication for sex, dollar, not for your vehicle. So, ladies, have you ever had sex, went so long, and the next day you get up and you're even afraid to go and pee because it just, you know it's going to hurt, you know it's going to burn. You know, guys feel good because they go like, yep, they literally tear that up last night. If you had used lube, you wouldn't have had that problem. So let's good into you can actually use lube all over the body. It helps you to glide in and out easier. It gives you that silky velvety touch of your fingers. And in these times of corona, we all know that our hands are dry because that hand sanitizer does nothing for us. So yes, you feel like everything is going to fall out. Yes, we've if you're lucky as a woman, you've had a few of those nights, or mornings, I should say. So during when your hand is dry, and just overall, lube can help with everything. It helps from foreplay all the way to intercourse. So we spoke about spit the last time, and we already said that spit has bacteria and spit can carry STIs. Stop spitting and use lube. So some people actually use it for shaving. So I've been told that you can add a little bit of lube or water-based lube to your shaving gel, and it actually helps to give you a smoother shave, and it leaves less irritation, so you don't have that, that bad aftershave burn. So maybe you should try it out, see if that works, let me know. And also, lube though gives you a more natural feeling when you're having sex. Yes, younger women are easier to get wet, but there are certain conditions that may cause even a younger woman not to get as wet, or not to lubricate as well as she should. So it doesn't have anything to do with your age. It's more about just the feeling and the sensitivity that you feel when you're using lube, as compared to just doing it natural. And you can get to what you want to do quicker, so that you don't have to wait for that body to warm up and wait for that person to get wet. So if you don't like using condoms, but you need to use a condom, then lube also helps to give you that nothing there feeling. And I'll give you a little tip on how to use lube to make it really feel like there's nothing there, even when you're using a condom. So you can use lube when you're masturbating, or even when you're fingering your partner, when you are giving your partner a hand job. Last time we talked about blowjobs, we talked about, that twist and suck. Now put some lube on your hand and rub that, and it just gives you that nice velvety smooth feeling when you are rubbing up and down the shaft of his penis. And just when he touches your vagina, touches your clit, rather than having those rough hands right there, it starts with that smooth silky touch, gives you that velvety touch that a woman that you need to have. Yeah, when a woman is not that into you, or you could use it when, as a woman, when you are with your partner for a very long time and you're in the mood because you don't take you off about 3 times for the day already, or you're just not in the mood, but you feel obligated to give him some anyways. You'll be like, all right, fine, just take it, because you'll get on my nerves anyways, and go about your business. That type of, you could use lube, get it over with, no lot of foreplay, just get it in and get it out. If you want, if you want that a quickie, lube is perfect for a quickie, because quickie does not require any, you don't get a lot of foreplay in a quickie, so you can use your lube, get it in, get it out, and that lube increases the sensation that you feel, so it increases your body's response, so then you come quicker as well. I mean, what's a quickie if you don't come quick, right? So lube is good for that. Or even like if you're with someone for the first time, or you're meeting someone, you're deciding that you're having sex with someone for the first time, then you don't want them to, you don't know how, sometimes you don't know how your body will respond. So what you can do is put a little bit of lube on your vagina before. So when you start to, kiss up and rub up, dry hump, as we would call it, then that lube, you're not getting that irritation from the clothing, that your underwear, his clothes, his jeans, whatever it is. If you guys want to do a little bit of that kissing orgasm, when you're practicing your kissing orgasm, lube is good to have lube on your vagina, or on your penis, so that you can still rub up against each other and it will still feel that silky smooth, and you'll still get, gives you that sensitivity. And yeah, that's a good one too. So now I was trying to look for ingredients that you should look for in lube, so that I could actually tell you what to look for. But instead I found a whole bunch of what not to look for. Excuse me. We can talk about that directly, Dala. So what you should not, sorry, my phone, so what you should not, what you should look for and avoid at all times in lubes is, so you can write these down, because we want you to learn these so that you know exactly what to look for when you're looking on your ingredients, so that you know not to get that lube. So glycerine, you should not use lubes with glycerine, because glycerine is actually a sugar derivative. Now we talked about sugar being feeding, about yeast feeding on sugar, so that it can cause a yeast infection. So glycerine is sugar, or a sugar derivative. So make sure that your lube does not have glycerine in it, and it could actually shift your pH balance. Now another one is propylene glycol. Glycol, sorry, it's Propylene glycol, Glycol. That is actually antifreeze, or that's used in antifreeze. You don't want that anywhere near your genitals. So if your lube has that propylene glycol in it, don't buy it. Citric acid and sodium benzoate. So these are carcinogenic, and that means they might cause cancer. So if you have cancer already, or you're on blood thinners, you shouldn't use sodium benzoate, because it's also a blood thinner, so it might cause internal bleeding. Now another one that's not good is nonoxynol 9, NOxynol 9, or N9 for short. You don't want that in your lube, because it's actually the ingredients that they use in cleaning and cosmetic products, and also it's widely used in contraceptives as a spermicide. So you might think it's a good idea because you don't want to get pregnant, but you don't want anything that's being used in cleaning products in your area either. Now another thing that you don't want to see in your lube ingredients is chlorhexidine gluconate. So that is actually a disinfectant and antiseptic that doctors use to wipe your area down before surgery. So that isn't something that you want in your lube either. I'm going to put the names up because obviously I'm having problems pronouncing them. So I'm going to type them up and give it to you guys afterwards. And let's get into the different types of lubes that you can have. You have your water-based lubes, which are basically all-purpose lubes, and the more popular ones, the safest lubes that you can use for sex, is a water-based lube. And the water-based lube is absorbed by the body, so it's absorbed by the body whenever whenever you have that, your natural wetness that comes from your body interacts with that lube, and it also kind of multiplies the effect. It gets you wetter, it keeps you wetter longer. So it's also the easiest lube to clean and wash off after you're done, and it's very safe to use with toys, with condoms. So it won't have those deteriorate like the way like oil, and it works with your body's natural lubrication. So maybe sometimes, even if you're having sex for a very long time, you may still need to reapply a little bit, but it's the lube that comes closest to your body's natural production of fluids. So then you have silicone lube. So silicone lube is very silky, very long lasting. You want to use silicone lube especially if you're going to be in a shower, in a pool, in the sea, because I see you guys going swimming at Key, acting all lovey-dovey in the water, like breeze can't pass through, the laugh, and act as if though you guys are just being all cuddly. I know what you're doing down there. So if you're going to be doing that, then you can use some silicone lube before you enter the water, and and it also acts like a barrier, so it keeps that salt water off of you. Because someone wanna risk that salt water for going into the sea. So silicone lube is perfect for that. But it does not mean that it's a replacement. Not because I said it's a barrier, it doesn't mean that it's a replacement for condoms. So if you're going to use it in the shower, make sure that it doesn't get on the floor, because it's going to get very slippery, and you do not want to fall in the shower. So it's also, silicone will deteriorate other silicone materials. So if you have toys made of silicone, or toys made of like cyber skin, that softer rubber material or jelly material, you don't want to use silicone lubes with it because it deteriorates those. But you can use it on your glass toys, your wooden toys, your metal toys, toys that are made of harder rubber. It's fine to go ahead and use silicone lube with that. It's also hypoallergenic, so it won't cause an allergic reaction. Some people are allergic to like latex and different things, so you can use a silicone lube for that, and silicone lube will give you that gliding effect. So it's just like, it allows you to just do more with sex also. And that's a lube on a whole will allow you to do more with sex. Lube will allow you to be able to switch positions more easily. I mean, you can experience, I'm sure you've experienced where you're trying to switch positions, you take it out, but you're trying to put it back in. It's not going in as easy because by the time you're there, you're about to be dry anyways. Switching a lot of different positions, you're taking it in and out, then that can cause dryness. Any type of breaks in between can take away from how that natural lubrication is working. So it allows you to do more, trying different positions, doing a lot more activities, and it's also good to guys with guys. You can play around with how long you stay, and play around with your pattern per se. So go all the way in, then you take your time, come all the way out until it's just at the tip, and then you go back into the base, and you just kind of take your time, be slow with it. But that also allows you to, when you're doing that, it doesn't dry up, and then you can take it all the way out to the tip, and then you can just, you know, if different patterns of sex, so if your partner is into a little bit harder sex, then it's good for that as well, because the harder and faster sex will cause more friction. So you use that lube to help and assist you with that, and after that you can, you know, do like harder sex, faster sex, change up your tempo, and lube is going to be right there to help you to get all of that done without having to worry about dryness, irritation. So silicone lube will stay on longer. Petroleum based. Petroleum jelly is not, Vaseline is not lube. A lot of guys talk about pass the Vaseline when they're masturbating. A lot of people feel like Vaseline, because it's slick and slippery, that it's a good substitute for lubrication. No, it's not. It's not lube. It repels water. That's for one. So it's what you would call hydrophobic. So it repels water, and so it won't break down under moist conditions. And it does reduce friction. So after you've had that rough night where you forgot to use the lube and you're a little bit sore down there, women could actually apply a little bit of Vaseline in the area that's extra sensitive. Like if you need to go to work the next day, if you're wearing like a liner or something, and it helps that friction and that rubbing against that. So that you can use Vaseline or jelly for, or petroleum jelly for, but not for sex. So what happened is, it's also one of those ingredients that you're not supposed to use, or one of those ingredients that you're supposed to avoid when you're having sorry, that you're supposed to avoid along with the list that I just gave you. So why you're supposed to avoid this is because it may contain certain impurities that are cancerous, and it also breaks down latex and latex condoms, and it also promotes the growth of yeast. So petroleum jelly, Vaseline, those you don't use for sex. You can use them to, as like I said, as a coat, as a light coat, to help to reduce friction from underwear and other things. So that, you know, you don't have that irritation while you go about your day. Oil-based lubes. A lot of people are talking about CBD oils in lubes, other things like coconut oil. You talk about shea butter, cocoa butter, things like that. A lot of people are into that now. Now again, oil-based lubes is just like oil. It will break down your barriers, but they're very good for exploring like your erogenous zones. They're very good in giving like a nice massage, a nice full body massage you can give with an oil, with a nice oil-based lube. Again, lube is just supposed to give you that silky smooth, you know, feeling. So that actually the oil base is very good for masturbation. So self pleasure, is, you can use a good oil-based lube for that, because you know you're not going to be using a condom when you're self pleasuring. You don't have to worry about, you know, drying out. You can reapply, and it helps you to, you know, maneuver over your body easier. Again, that soft wet fingertips. You know, it's good. You don't have to be licking your finger, and before you do that, we spoke about spit already, and how spit is not something that you want to use as lubrication. And then we always hear about lube, which is just regular liquid lube, and then you have lubricant jelly. So lubricant jelly, that is kind of like a thicker water-based lube. So what that does, a jelly lube, is like what those doctors are going to use when they're doing like ultrasounds or transvaginal ultrasounds. That's what they put on top of the little thing that looks like a vibrator that they insert in you. So that lube is thicker, and so it's also something that a doctor may prescribe for a woman that is having problems with vaginal dryness. So we spoke about women having vaginal dryness, and women would have vaginal dryness maybe if they're entering menopause. Pregnancy may cause vaginal dryness. Breastfeeding may cause vaginal dryness. There are some medications that may be prescribed for other conditions that may cause vaginal dryness. Baby oil is oil, so no, you should not use that, just for massage. And then even during your menstrual cycle, you may have vaginal dryness within your menstrual cycle, which may naturally occur from young to old. So that means that they might prescribe, or you can use a gel. So you can use that just for everyday use. So you can use that to just, if you're having vaginal dryness, then you can use that to just kind of apply to yourself before so that you can go from day to day, and go about your business, and you don't have that friction and irritation with your, and like let's say if you have a yeast infection and you have to go to work, then you can apply that so that you don't have that irritation when you're going. And then sometimes you don't want to use that that cream that they apply to you to go to that they give you to go to work. Maybe you might feel kind of self-conscious about it. A bit of jelly lubricant can help while you're going about your day until you can come back and use it. So that's what jelly lubricants are best for, because they're thicker. And then you also have what are called hybrids. So hybrid lubes are a combination of like water-based and silicone lubes. So that's just basically what a hybrid is. And then you have other things like your warming lubes. So we have this. So this is like a massage oil. This is a body heat warming massage lotion. Now it can also be used as a lube. It's water based, so you don't have to necessarily take it off when you're done. But it's flavored, and what it does, it heats up with body to body contact. What about vaginal steaming? I need to do more research about that. Maybe when I do the next series of lives, I'm going to talk about vaginal steaming. So the warming lube. So the warming lube, it warms up the body from body to body contact. So it's very good for massage. It's very good for temperature play. So you get a bit of warming lube. You rub the surface. You rub it against the clit. You rub it against the head of the penis. Then you can use ice. You can use that mint that we talked about for oral and kind of blow on it, and that goes from heat to cold. So you can use. It's very good for temperature play. It adds extra sensitivity. So that warming lube can kind of build up the intensity when you're having sex as well. And again, just make sure you notice the ingredients that's in it. Make sure you let your partner know that you're using a warming lube. Some people might get kind of weirded out by the different feeling. With any lube that you're using, if you're not sure, what you want to do is take a little bit of the lube first and test it on maybe the inside here of your hand, just to see if it has any type of reaction. And warming lube is also good for the nipples. So again, it warms up the nipples, gets your nipples all nice and tingly. And then when your partner sucks on your nipples, and I'm talking about male and female nipples, so when your partner is sucking against your nipple using that ice again for temperature play, then you have then you can that warming lube, that's a very good complement. And then you have your flavored lubes, like the dessert lubes. And your flavored lubes now are specially designed for oral sex. Those will be sweet, but they won't necessarily contain that glycerine. That's a sugar substitute. Sorry. And again, you don't have to wipe them off before sex. You'll probably eat most of it off anyways by the time you are finished with the oral part of your sexual adventure for the night. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's probably only a little that's going to be left anyways by the time you're finished with oral. Then you can just use some regular water-based lube to go ahead and finish your intercourse. But flavored lubes are very good, and then it keeps so for those that are for oral, it keeps your mouth wet. You know when you have that when you taste something sour and that just build up that saliva in your mouth. So that's what the flavored lube is supposed to do. So it keeps your mouth wet, and it keeps you so that it prevents you from having that lockjaw, that we talk about when you're there too long, especially if you're just doing oral and for oral play. So a flavored lube will help you with that, prevents lockjaw, ladies. Guys, get your girl some flavored lubes if you want her to stay down longer. And then you have anal lubes. Anal lubes are actually lubes that are water. It's kind of like a hybrid lube. It's going to be water-based and silicone. We talked about water-based lubes, which is very good. But then we also talked about silicone lubes, which last so much longer. Now, so the anal lube is thicker, though. It's going to be a thicker formula because remember, the anus does not self-lubricate. So you're going to use that anal lube, which is a thicker kind of lube. This one. For anal sex, it lasts longer, and you can use a lot of, you should use a lot of it, but like I said, it's thicker, so it's going to last a bit longer, and then you can just reapply. Now, then you have things like your sensitizing lubes. So your clit sensitizing lubes, which would be like this one. This is the Make Me Come sensitizing lubes. These are specifically for your clitoris. So you're going to rub this on the clitoris. It has a nice minty feeling, that menthol, kind of like Vicks, but it's flavored and it'll taste like Vicks. So you're going to use that for just to kind of get the clitoris sensitized. It gives, as opposed to the warming lube, which is going to make it warm, the clit sensitizing lubes or the cooling lubes will make it cooler, so it gives you that cold feeling. And it's also edible, so you don't have to worry about that. And then also there are pills that women can take for them to stay lubricated longer. So if you want a challenge, Vicks is nice, yes, but Vicks is not lube, and you can't use that. It's not going to stay on. And Vicks has that. I'm sure Vicks have some type of gel, petroleum or Vaseline in it. So for women that want to last longer and have better vaginal lubrication, there's also these, which are the Kangaroo Pills. So The Kangaroo Pills will intensify your orgasm, and it will have you will stay wet and well lubricated for 72 hours. So those of you who are going to use your sweetheart pass because you just get out of the house now that they lift curfew and then you're going to be sneaking out with somebody man, with the people they man, for a weekend, then you can get you some Kangaroo so that you can go all weekend, 72 hours, and done out the man before you send her back to a woman. I'm just saying, it happens, right? So, like I said, before you use any type of lube, check the ingredients to make sure that you're not sensitive to it. Like we said, the benefits of lube is just to make sex more comfortable and more pleasurable for everybody involved because it increases your sensitivity. And it gives you more room to be more creative. You know, you can, like I said, switch up positions, do different things, longer strokes, harder, faster. And it may also make you last longer. So especially if you're with a man that can last longer than an average man, and you as a woman, because you know yourself, you know exactly how to make yourself come. Usually after you come, then you kind of get dried out a little bit. So using lube will keep you lubricated. So then you can continue going with his pace, and then you'll just end up with multiple orgasms. So if you want more multiple orgasms, or you want to experience those, if you have not experienced multiple orgasms before, and you have a guy that lasts very long, then, you know, use some lube. Then when you're finished coming, you won't get tired and you won't feel dried out for the guy to continue. So a little tip for the women: when you're using lube, when your guy is almost ready to come, you take a little bit of that lube, even the warming lube, and you put it on the tip of your finger, and you take it and you tap in between the perineum. That is the space in between the balls and the anus. Not the anus, the space above the anus, just before the balls, that area. So I have the pills in stock. So use that lube to top off his orgasm. It's going to do something to him that's going to light him up and make his orgasm even more intense. So take a little bit on your finger when you know he's about to come. Take that lube finger and put it right there around his perineum, and you can tap. So masturbation, we already said that we can use lube for masturbation. It's very good. It allows you to explore your whole body, and it's also good even when you're using your toy. Use it with your toy, so that, hey, maybe with a toy, sometimes it takes you a little bit longer to warm up to it too, because it's not a person, and you know, the same feeling is not there. So, you know, you don't have someone that's you're so highly attracted to and it's exciting you. So maybe you might not warm up as easy when you're using a toy. Lube is good for that, because then it helps you to warm up. It helps you to get wetter quicker, and then you can just, you know, insert your toy easier. Especially if you're new to toys, and especially if you're new to like vibrators, because when you're first using vibrators, the sensation of that vibration may dry you out a bit, especially if you put the vibration on too high. Use that lube, because it helps to balance you out, and you won't get as dry so quickly. Also, if you're nervous, like I said before, if you're nervous, you're with somebody that you're just starting out to have sex with, then you can use lube. Put the lube before, before you start. Go to the bathroom, put the lube. If you feel shame to make the man say to use lube, because again, like we said, a lot of people have their own misconceptions about lube and think that, oh, it's only for people that can't get wet, so you don't want the man to think that you are, you're dry. So you can go and put your lube before. And we talked about having lube for sex, especially when you're doing positions that cause the penis to kind of be like at the lower base of the vagina, like down there. That can cause a lot of friction and rub, and that's where you'll get the tearing. So you can just make sure you use a lot of lube in that area. Yeah, let the man rub the lube on you and play with you. So had him put it on your finger, on his finger you a little bit to insert some lube inside and around the vagina, around the clit. So you can use it as a form of foreplay too. And again, for those men that feel that they won't be able to, the pills come in a 2-pack. For men that feel like they can't feel that it doesn't feel the same because you're using a condom, what you can do is drop a couple drops of the lube inside the condom before you roll it out. So just you open it and there's this little cup looking, you drop a couple lubes in it and just then before you roll up the condom, and that is going to help. And that inside along with the lube outside, well, he's going to feel like he is not using anything for sure. It's going to increase his sensitivity even more than just using lube on the outside. So that's another good tip for men that don't like to use condoms. So things that you should ask about lube, or ask yourself. You need to find out what you're allergic to. So again, make sure that you look at the ingredients to make sure that there's nothing in there that you are allergic to. Make sure that you know what type of toys you're using. If you're using lubes with your toys, make sure that you know that you're using a toy, the lube that is compatible with your toy. And if you're worried about whether or not you want to clean up afterwards, that will determine what type of lube you use. Silicone lube is going to be messy. Oil-based lubes are going to be messy. So you want easy cleanup, get a water-based lube. And then know what you're using the lube for. You don't have to just have one lube. You can have more than one type of lube. And you have a lube for every occasion. So know what you want it for. If you want it just for you, for personal use with yourself, if you want it for sex, if you want it for anal, if you want it for water, just know what you want it for. Then you can know what type of lube you're going to get. And if you want, they're organic lubes now. Then there are just the synthetic ones that are just made in the lab. So you have to know what you want in a lube. Let me see. And so like I said, let me recap before I go and check out these crazy questions. Next week will be the last in the live series. So next week is the end of the semester. And then we're going to take a summer break. And then we'll come back with more topics. So if you can think of any more topics that you want, then let me know. And the biggest one I sell is this one right here. You want it? So if there are any other topics, so when we come back, we're going to explore topics like kinks, bondage, We're going to explore other topics. I see a lot of people asking about how to make a man last longer. So your exam is you going and practicing and telling me your exam is an essay. Your exam is a written essay on what you learned and how you applied everything that you've learned so far. So let me know what you've learned, and if you give a good essay and a good description, you might just win a prize, right? Again, if this is your first time watching, like the page. Go like the page on Pleasure Spot. And also, if you want to copy, go back and watch the lives. I post them on YouTube. So go to look for the YouTube channel, and you can subscribe and like that page as well. So when I get your essay, I'll know if you're promoted to the next semester, the next class. So you can re-watch all the lives. Some of you new, and I see you asking questions about things that we already addressed in lives about 2-3 times ago. So make sure you go to YouTube and catch everything that you missed. We've talked about oral, anal, difference in toys. We've talked about a lot. So go to the YouTube page, go play back the lives, and you can then see everything that you have missed. New arrivals have been posted. They're practically already gone. Don't worry, more is coming at the end of the month. And we still have some items on clearance, so check that out. Check out the clearance album. And thank you guys so much. Remember, next week we're going to just talk about overall female vaginal health. So again, if that's something that you want to know, men need to know about it too, because you need to know what to look out for when you're engaging with sex with these women. Everyone getting voted to the next semester. Yeah, so let me just run through a little bit of the questions. Distracting toys at the back. These are my props. If you notice, Gigi and her husband, they're married. They're not having premarital sex, by the way. And they're using the KY Yours and Mine lubricant. Now this is a couples lubricant, so there's a lube for him and a lube for her, and this warms up, and when these two lubes combine, it's like the commercial says. So let's see. I'll be putting up videos of different products, different toys, how to use them, just kind of giving instructions, kind of like what I used to do, and then I stopped for some reason. But we'll be getting more videos, and Dalla just misbehave bad in a class today, and I will have to write Miss Harriet about him, because he never left off his best behavior at all today. So let's see. I got a feeling your bed full. No worry about my bed. Write out my business. I don't want to write out my business. You can message me privately. What's it? I know I talked to you, but I know answer Dalla, you know. Alright. I'm going to go through afterwards. I'm going to go through the questions. The ones that are not from Dala giving trouble, I'm going to answer. I said Said me to give little bit of trouble in a class. Said na make Dala make you go astray. She looked it. So, okay, guys, that's all for tonight. I'm going to go back and check out your questions and reply to those that need replying. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Remember, tune in next week. We're going to have a final conversation, but we will come back, and in the meantime, think about things that you want to know so that you can give me ideas for the next semester, and we can keep the lives interesting and fun. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.